Hello, forget everything I've ever said about the climate of the United States. All those scientifically backed titles like 5 states with way more snow than Britain, chuck them out, they're worthless. And that's because, and I'm sure you've all seen the news reports, the South is getting absolutely battered by snow. I've seen reports of carpets of snow in Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, actual Mexico, and Louisiana. And I went high-pitched there because it's genuinely shocking. Okay, I'm just going to calm down, catch my breath, and consider the fact that Louisiana did make it into the list of 5 states with way more rain than Britain. And that's because of its close proximity to the Mexican Gulf and the fact that it gets warmer temperatures than the northern United States. In fact, let's take a look at temperatures because that's something else that's been impacted by this sudden surge. In a given year here in Chicago, the average winter temperature is around about 22 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's pretty cold when you consider that's an average. Sometimes it will drop below that. In fact, today is a fine example. As the snow continues to pummel my street, making it look like the Arctic subregion of Baton Rouge, the temperature lows today are 13 degrees Fahrenheit, and they've been even lower in the last few days. So in all of those metrics, how does the capital of Louisiana compare? Well, your average winters in Baton Rouge are typically more than twice as warm as those of Chicago. And yet, unfathomably, the city is experiencing the same low temperatures that Chicago is. And this is a strange moment in the history of my channel because usually when I put out a video talking about how cold and how snowy it is in Chicago, people in the South often say, why don't you move down here? Things are even colder in Texas and Oklahoma, with lows today of 4 in Dallas and -6 in Oklahoma City. And this is a bombshell for me because part of my plan to visit all of the 50 states was to visit the South during the winter while the North was still unfit for humans. But turning our attention back to those southern states that are being bombarded by snow right now, the most unusual among them appears to be Louisiana. Let's take a look again at Texas, Oklahoma and Louisiana, and specifically the places within those states that record the most snow on average every year. In Oklahoma, this is Boise City, a small city that sits in the Oklahoma panhandle. I don't know why I'm doing that, perhaps because it looks like a flute. There, and I found this quite surprising, they get roughly 30.8 inches exactly. In Texas, the place that gets the most snow is another small town. I told you, it's always the quiet ones. And that city is Stratford, and what do you know? It's located in the Texas panhandle. And it's a good thing we're not talking about actual panhandles here because a frying pan is the last place you'd want to be if you're a snowman. But the panhandle in Texas does tend to get more snow than the rest of the state. And in Stratford, we see 20.2 inches a year. And while that's no Chicago, it's practically the Arctic when compared to Shreveport, Louisiana. Located in the northwest of the state, Shreveport records more snow annually than any other place in Louisiana. But that average across the entire year is just 0.8 inches, a number that has been roundly trounced in various Louisiana towns and cities in the last 24 hours. Now, up and down the land, and I really do mean up and down the land as opposed to just here in Chicago, there are reports of more snow, not just tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. A film reference that wasn't intended, but you've got to admit was perfectly timed. And let me say a quick word to those of you who are considering a move to the likes of Oklahoma or Texas, you know, once we've overcome a worldwide pandemic and the 6th ice age. Basically, don't back out. Snow on this level is not common. There's just lots of tornadoes. And finally, I've read the reports of millions of people, particularly in Texas, losing power during these storms. And naturally, I don't have any jokes about that. I just wish you all well. I mean, it's easy for me to stand here and moan about Chicago's weather, but the truth is, the city does have the infrastructure to handle it. So hang in there and tweet me pictures of your yard if you get bored. In the meantime, I don't know about you, all of this snow is making me think about buying a property in the Pacific Northwest. What? It's snowing in Seattle. That's your latest monthly weather report from me, non-meteorologist Lawrence Brown. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS, and if you're new to my channel, please subscribe so that my videos don't get lost in the pond. Big shout out to all of my patrons who make these videos possible. If you would like to become a patron of Lost in the Pond, you can do so at patreon.com/LostInThePond. Until next time, goodbye.